You're never going to be ready for your first feature. Screw the gatekeepers. We're going to do it ourselves and then be able to make money on it for the rest of our lives. It's just a different way of going about it. It's like, I don't want to be a part of that. And we're not waiting for permission. We're going to go attack this and do it ourselves. Are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, let's do an intro. Let's start it again. I didn't know we were going. I wrote and directed a feature film called Space Waves, as you know, and that was an incredible project. So it's inspired by my real life, my upbringing, a falling out with one of my close friends that I had in high school. As the movie goes on, their shared goal is we got to get this podcast out there, and they're just sharing funny stories about their life, and their motto is,
in a town where absolutely nothing happens, we got to make our own adventures. Space Waves out.
They record on top of this abandoned radio tower, and it's just a really fun movie. Shot it in my hometown of Grass Valley. And then as the movie goes on, it goes from more of a comedy, like a buddy comedy, summer adventure flick, to the second half is much more a friendship drama. It's like a breakup movie, because there's so many movies about romantic breakups, but hardly any about best friend breakups. One of the characters is like, we got to keep going with the Space Waves podcast. And the other character is like, hey, I'm growing up, I'm moving on, I want to do something else with my life. And so you see their paths start to diverge. Diverge. There you go. Diverge. And so as that's happening, it's just kind of heartbreaking seeing their friendship go separate ways. And so that was something that I really dealt with. And so the message of the film is that forgiveness is the better road, and that although times change, friendship and adventure can still be found in every season of life. It might just look different.
And that was one of the things that connected the most, because it reminded me a lot when I was watching the film when that was happening, of just like one or any of these kind of creative collaborations that you're in, where it's like one person has a goal, you team up, and then once you get 3-4 years down the road, you just have different goals. And that seems to be just life in general. Yeah. But you're saying this was based on like a real experience.
Right. Yeah. It was based.
Was this the creative experience of making the film, or was this some other?
No, like my high school best friend and I, we had skateboarding videos in common, and
Gotcha.
That's how I got into film, was like making skateboarding videos and putting them on physical DVD, which is another reason why I love what you're doing, Jerry. But yeah, like making these skate videos, and I was like getting more and more into it, and towards the end of high school, he was like getting less into it, and he got a girlfriend, and he was like, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do this, and I'm like, I want to go to film school, and I want to make, I want to do like a gap year and do skateboarding ministry after high school. And like, so our lives were just totally on different paths. And I just took it so hard. And like, I thought like, the world is against me, and my best friend hates me, and all this drama. And we were not on speaking terms for years. And it was like a very messy kind of friendship falling out. We're actually good friends now, which is crazy. I wrote the movie just as like kind of a way to process, like as a catharsis. That was what I was going through. And I was also like, I want to make a movie so bad, when I was in film school, and I was not really a fan of short films. And so I was like, I want to make a feature. There's this abandoned radio tower in my hometown. I want to make a movie surrounding that. I have this, trauma, this best friend breakup that I'm working through. How do I like put this all together? That's kind of the beginnings of Space Waves and how it started to take shape. And then, it was a 5-year long process from pre-production to distribution, and it was $50,000 budget estimated, over the course of 5 years.
I like the estimated. Yeah.
Who knows? Probably a lot more, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
when you don't include your time and everything, it's like,
gosh.
The actual,
we were like saving up and paying for sound design, and then save up, after another 6 months, and then pay for score. And
it was
and
very
so
similar
on.
to every,
So you know how it is.
Yeah,
Jared.
anybody that's making a movie or is watching, listening, when you're just doing those kind of things, and now that you've done one, it's like, if you can just get past one of those hurdles, like usually you're starting way before you're ready. It's like you're just trying to get it in motion and be like, we'll figure that part out later. The score comes at the very end. I don't need to budget that right now. Like
you're never going to be ready for your first feature. That's what Andrew.
I don't think you're ever going to be ready for any film. Like I've done 3 of them now, and trying to do the 4th one, and I'm like, can I do it? Can I actually make this? And you're like, you keep having those like kind of doubts and stuff. And so you said you also run like a podcast. Was the podcast inspired from working on the movie, or were you doing it before the movie?
Yeah, that came...
Because it's like, you know the language
I know.
of podcast. And if you were doing that in 2018, I was like, it felt like it was still relevant to like, kind of now of like how the charts will just flop all over the place and then...
My podcast came after we need to get the Space Waves podcast to the top of the iTunes charts. It was still called iTunes back then.
Yeah.
And then
now it'd be like probably Spotify.
No, now it's
whatever.
Apple. Well, like it's Apple Podcasts now.
Duh, there's no iTunes.
And it's just the
Apple
movie
Music
took so long that like it totally changed and it wasn't even iTunes anymore. And so we're like, I guess this is a period piece now. Like, yeah, you're like,
okay. All right.
But yeah, it's just a way for me to like create a tapestry of my life and my life stories and my friends and the people that are meaningful to me, and just be able to share, my life as my living, breathing testimony as a ministry, because I'm Christian. So I want to put my faith out there. I also want to be real. I want to be like, yeah, these are mistakes we made. These are funny stories. These are embarrassing moments. These are victories. These are defeats. All the above, And so with the Spencer Whiteout podcast, I'm able to do all of that and interview lots of people. It's been a great way to make new friendships and capture and categorize the life stories that I think are meaningful, and to just share that with the world.
I think people forget that your life experiences are what is making you an artist.
Love that. Yeah.
So it's like, I worked on set for 10 years on huge budget movies and commercials and music videos, blah, 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 as a gaffer. And all I watched was the same thing happen over and over and over and over and over. Like the same lighting, the same everything. It's like you get out and then you go try to make a thing by yourself, like your podcast by yourself, and it's like, it's going to be completely different than with a friend or with a buddy or whatever you're doing. And so I think, like you're saying, all these things that are part of your life, those are, even if you don't try, they're all going to be part of your films and your art. How'd you go from skate videos to be like, I'm going to make a narrative feature? Because there's some skate videos in Space Waves too, which is kind of fun. There's like a theatrical thing, and I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that has to also be the same. That has to be Spencer.
Come from somewhere.
I was like, that has to be Spencer as well, right? Because it's like, but if you could talk about that kind of transition, how did you go from, skate videos to like, to this narrative feature?
Yeah, I mean, so I started making skateboarding videos in like junior high, like 7th grade. First one was called Stoked, and then the next one was
with
called...
an E or without an E? Or just
I don't remember.
STOK''D? That feels like a middle schooler, right? That feels good.
It was like Stoked, and then Wired, and then Amped, and then Awaken the Bacon, and then Next Level, and then Reflect Project, and then the Calling All Skaters video,
titles.
and then Future Memories, and so
Future Memories?
Yeah, with a PH.
Yeah, okay,
But yeah, I started making skate videos junior high through high school and through early college. And I loved it because, picking up the camera, like filming with my mom's like 480p digital camera back then, terrible quality, terrible,
We're looking at one right now. That one's, it says it's 1080, but you can tell it's not.
You got to do a panorama at some point, because this is like the coolest studio space. I came in here, I met Jerry, I was just like taking pictures. I'm like, this is amazing.
I'll do a walkthrough at some point,
right.
But yeah, usually this is going to be the most you've ever seen. But yeah.
I'm honored to be the first in person.
Yeah. No, I'm happy you're here.
We're not the best skaters. We got to make up for it with, stunts and funny things and other random
story
clips.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. You got to have a story.
And so my skate videos got better as we got better. And then as the skate videos kind of progressed and stuff, it was like, I always wanted to make my skate videos with non-skaters in mind as the audience. I'm like, I want the normal people to be able to still enjoy this. And so we'd put in the falls, we'd put in the character moments. And I just fell in love with that. After high school, I went to YWAM, Calling All Skaters, which was like a 6-month ministry for skateboarding. And so we were like spreading the gospel in LA and then China. And so I was like filming a whole documentary about, the trip. And I was really wrestling at that time in 2015 of like, well, what do I want to do? And I felt like I was hitting the ceiling with skateboarding videos, because I'm like, I don't really want to just make skate videos the rest of my life. Like it felt like I said, hitting the ceiling, and I'm like, I want to do more. And so I went to film school at Biola. That was an incredible experience. I made one last skate video like in 2016 while I was, a sophomore at Biola, and that was like a 2-year project. And I was like, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the last one. And like, because I was just kind of over it, and it takes a lot of work to bring together people that are good skaters, and as you get into your 20s, people's life trajectories change, and so I kind of had one foot in Grass Valley, where I grew up, being like, I'm making one last skate video with some of my friends there, but then also some friends in SoCal. And I finally finished that, and then it was like, I'm fully invested at Biola. I'm going through film school. I did my last skate video. I'm doing short films. I'm really enjoying the process of like learning how to tell stories and crafting a style, creating the short films. And I was always ambitious. I was like, well, our project this semester is we got to create 3 short films. So I'm going to create 3 short films and set them all in the same universe.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to have the same, title scheme, like the 80s kind of titles and purple and pink and whatever, and the character's gonna wear like these neon jackets, and we're gonna have like this cool synthwave music. And so I started creating this style, and I would put like Easter eggs in all 3 of the films. And so I started creating this style, and I was always like, I'm ambitious, I wanted to do something more. And like short films, I was pretty, I don't know, I guess you'd say kind of rigid in my thinking. I'd be like, no one's ever gonna remember short films. Features are the only way to go. Short films are a waste of time, and I was like a little extreme, but I came to realize that like, yes, obviously it's good to practice the craft. Short films have their place, but for me, I'm just so drawn to feature films. And so that's what I started doing in 2017. I had a summer class at Biola, and I met Andrew Barr, who became the producer of Space Waves. And I was like, at this time, hey, I'm writing this movie called Space Waves. It's inspired by this personal life story. I want to shoot it in Grass Valley, want to utilize our resources, micro budget, DIY. Because I also felt like kind of an outcast or just on the outside of like the film school. Like I was never one of the, popular kids or the best. And it felt like all the best people in film school would just work together constantly. And they would just go from project to project. And everyone on the outside that wasn't like really, really good at something was kind of like not getting any invites, to like...
Weird.
Anyway, all that to say, I just felt like at a certain point I was like, I want to make a movie, but like no one's giving me the invite, so it's like, well then you be the leader.
What's crazy
you
is
gotta
like
do it
I
yourself.
hear so much of like how we made the horror and what you're talking about right now. It's like we had a movie that was called Famous. It was a period boxing film set in 1893. We were trying to get like $1 million for it. Looking back is like crazy. I can't even believe I took those meetings at 23, 24. But I was like, we were so naive, and just like ignorance is like a superpower at that age.
Right.
And then we were just like, okay, we have $15,000. What can we make? And we wrote that, and then we flew to start making it in 30 days. Like it was like that. We were just like, we're done waiting.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
can't
like, I
wait.
can't.
You
I'm
have
not
to
waiting
do it yourself.
It's like, I don't even know if this is going to be any good, so we might as well just make it and see what happens and
Yeah.
like get to the second one. Like,
Yeah, and you got to inspire the people around you, because you're not waiting for an invite. You're not waiting for the cavalry to come. It's hey, this is the project that's on my heart, and I want to bring other people into it that believe in the message. Write the movie you want to see within the parameter of the story you need to tell.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Because that'll guide you. It's like, this is the movie I want to see. Like, I want to see this type of movie that hasn't been done before. I have a vision for this. Have a particular style and whatever. And then at the same time, the story that you need to tell. It's like, what's that one that's on your heart? What is that personal story, the thing that's going to... that's going to get you up in the morning at 6 a.m. for a set time, or to go late, or to keep going through.
Overnights in like negative 12-degree weather. You got to really be...
Yeah, you got to really want
excited.
it, and you have to believe in it on a deep
you got to
level.
really want to make that when you're standing on a frozen lake, filming at 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to really want that.
Exactly, dude. And limitation creates innovation or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, and that's what it was. It was, like we were like, we have this really cool house on a lake. We want to make a horror movie. Okay, that's a cool set. And then we're like, but we want our horror movie to be what would happen after the horror movie's over. Like when the people have to actually deal with their life again. Like that's scarier to me.
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
Like, the home invasion is one thing, but that took 45 seconds. It's going to be the next 10 years of your life where you think somebody's always invading your house. That's terrifying.
Dude, that's
And so
really
that's
good.
what the movie is.
Yeah.
Like, and so... But yeah, we would go, we did one chunk of it. We spent like $7,000. We came back, we edited it. It was terrible. We rewrote the whole script. We saved another $7,000. We flew back, did another, it's like, and we just did that 3 times. And then, now the movie's there, and It's, you know, you can see it, but it's all those limitations, like not doing it all at once. Right before we started rolling, we were talking about like distribution, and making the film is one thing, and that's hard. I think getting it seen has been, my experience, is way harder.
Yeah.
I've made 3 features, and I'm guessing a lot of people watching right now haven't seen them. So, and then, but maybe that'll change. But so if you could talk a little bit about distribution, how you attacked it, because I was kind of blown away that a YouTube channel with 500, 600 subscribers, when I watched it, this video has like 100,000 views.
Yeah, I mean, so the movie took, like I said, 5 years from pre-pro and writing, and then production and post-production, and then a local premiere, and then being like, do we want to go to festivals? And it was like, this has already taken so long. And also this was like 2020, 2021. And we were like,
that's hard.
We were like, what's the point like of a festival?
I had a film at a virtual festival. It was awful.
That's what I'm saying. We were like
it was like sitting in my room, like sitting in my office, watching all these people, and it's like the producers. I directed it, with the producers like in a Zoom Q&A, and I was like,
yeah. And the point of a festival is like, you want to go and make connections.
I want to meet the other filmmakers.
Yeah. So we were just like, that's not happening right now. We're not going to spend a year in festivals,
in virtual festivals.
Virtual festivals.
Good on you. Good on you.
So we said, skip that. We need to just focus on getting it distributed, right? And so we had some connections through our film school, through some of our professors, through different, you know, friends and different people. So it was like, okay, we're going to spend this time, we're going to exhaust these connections. And then you know how it goes with like seeking traditional distribution. It's like, they're not going to give you any money. And even if they did, like, even if best case scenario, they gave you an MG, like a minimum guarantee, or they gave you some money up front, it's like, you're never going to see any money on the back end. They're so shady with like the marketing and expenses, and they're probably not going to do anything. And like, you still have to get it, you know, QC'd and all this stuff. And it's like, so what do they really provide? You know, probably not a whole lot. And at least nowadays.
Are you talking about a distributor or an aggregator?
I'm talking about distributor.
Okay.
You know, because what we did with the aggregator is basically you still retain all the rights, you know, because we wasted enough time and things weren't going anywhere with, you know, our connections and stuff. So we were like, if we're going to have to do it all ourselves anyway, then let's actually consider self-distribution, you know? And so with that, we decided to go through an aggregator it's called Bitmax.
Okay, I've heard of them, yeah.
iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. So with the aggregator, we wanted to go with one that like you pay a flat fee up front, no like back end or profit sharing or whatever, dividends or, you know, revenue split.
Yeah, revenue split.
So we went with Bitmax because you can't just get your movie onto iTunes or YouTube Movies or Google Play. They require...
When I made my first movie, that was the most shocking thing. I just thought it would be like, yeah.
You can't just submit it.
And I still think to this day you can't.
Oh, yeah.
So
they
I don't know
only
if it's the
accept
same,
it through an approved list of aggregators.
Yeah. When we did the horror and we got our aggregator, and sometimes I've called him our aggravator, but it's when I got that was you had to have like 100 pieces of content to be an approved one. So
what do you mean content?
So like they had to have 100 movies they could sell as an aggregator before they could be an approved aggregator to get. Which I don't know.
The whole thing is a mess. No.
But it's like so they might have 100 movies, but the quality could be all over the place.
Yeah. So I have no idea. It's all very complicated, and we're learning a lot, you know, and you're learning a lot, and so am I. But as I understood it, it was okay. Our end goal is we want to get it on a lot of these platforms. We want to have it behind a paywall for at least some time because we want to, you know, try to make some money, and we'll see. So we went through Bitmax. We got it onto, like I said, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and then back then Amazon had Amazon Prime Video Direct. They shut it down now. I don't know if you know about that.
My film they just pulled off of it after we'd been on for like a year. They said it hadn't made enough money or hadn't done something, and then they just yanked it. Like, it was just done. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Well, anyway, so...
yeah, they're just like, your movie's like, it would just be a dead link. Yeah,
that's
just,
crazy.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
No rebuttal, no nothing, just like it's
I
just
hope they don't pull ours. They might.
Yeah, cool. I don't use Amazon, but at all for anything because of that. They're not getting my money.
Right.
Like, they didn't even give me the money for the movie I made, you know? Like,
right.
It's wild.
Well, so anyway, so we got ours on Amazon as well through that Prime Video Direct, and it's still making some money on there. And so we got it on those main platforms, and that was TVOD, you know? So we pursued TVOD first, transactional video on demand. So we set our release date, June 21st, 2022. We created all this marketing material, which I want to get into. But anyway, so we released it. It was behind a paywall for the first year.
Okay. On YouTube? Or just on all of them? Okay.
And then after a first year of, you know, making, I don't know, several $1,000s, we were like, okay, it's kind of tapering off. We'd already pushed out all of our marketing stuff. And the point of a first, you know, feature, or, you know, really a lot of your work is like, you know, exposure. And so we were like, we want to get this movie seen, you know? And so at that point we were like, let's change gears a little bit. Let's pursue exposure. And so then we just put it up on YouTube for free. And we were thinking, you know, maybe we can get monetized and everything. We fell a little short of that goal, so we'll see. But as the movie is being viewed for free, people are still buying and renting it on the other platforms.
Oh, that's great.
Which is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You know, but that's like really cool. It's not as much, but it's like...
because
still...
they're watching it with ads on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah,
you can watch it with ads, or you can, you know, or if you want to support and you can buy it, whatever. So anyway.
I'm just saying, if you're watching it with a free on there, they'd have to watch it with the ads. So they might be like, I'll just go buy it, which is...
But yeah, so people are still watching it. People are still buying it, which is really cool. And then we decided, okay, let's go to Film Hub as well, because now our goal is exposure, and maybe we can make some money through Film Hub. And so we went to Film Hub and we got it... distributed, or whatever you want to say, through Film Hub, and then they got it on, you know, Plex, Tubi, all the random ones that you've never heard of, and we did that like 6 months ago, and it's already made like, I don't know, like $3,000 just through Film Hub, which is crazy because it was kind of a hassle, and Andrew and I are like, do we really want to like go through the QC process again and you know, submit the artwork in certain sizes and whatever? But I was like, I think it's worth it, and we'll see. And to get it on all these platforms, we want to get it seen, plus we might get some money. And so it's like, you know, every little bit counts. And so the fact that it's making, you know, it's made thousands of dollars just through Film Hub was really cool. And so anyway, all that to say, with like the aggregator and the route that we chose, we always wanted to, you know, pay up front if it's a small fee to get it on these platforms. We don't want to do like the, you know, the revenue split. And also we want to retain, very important, creative control or full rights, you know. So we don't ever want to sign away the rights, you know. And so we kept the rights for ourselves. We own it completely, so we can do whatever we want with it. All the platforms we put it on, they don't own it or anything. And so, you know, and with the marketing and stuff, it was like, if we're going to, like you said in one of your movies or in one of your YouTube videos, like, nobody's going to care about your film as much as you do, you know? Nobody's going to be a bigger champion.
Unfortunately.
I know. Right.
You are you're the, I mean, it's like you're looking at movies over there from 10, 15 years ago. It's
right.
Like,
and so you have to put in the work for the marketing stuff. And so
even if you have a distributor, I mean, that's my experience. Like, there is no marketing. From what I learned through the process, and which was kind of surprising to me, was like, oh, they don't need all of these to be successful. They need 1 out of 100. What was the thought process behind, we're just going to give it away on YouTube? Like, when you were thinking through that, because I'm sure a lot of filmmakers are like, oh, if I get it monetized, I can make the ad revenue. We can talk a little bit later, but you haven't made any of the ad revenue off that, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah. So, and you've had 107,000 views.
Right.
So,
we need the subscribers. So go subscribe.
If you're watching, go subscribe
Space
to
Waves
Space
Film.
Waves. So if you could just talk through that process of how you came to the conclusion, like, screw it, we're just going to give it away, and we're going to see where that kind of goes. Like, what was your thought process?
Well, like I said, first, let's see how much money we can make.
Yeah. I love that you did that one first, and then you did,
Once it's tapered off, it's like, do you want to just keep it behind a paywall and be, I don't want to say greedy, but like, just be like, oh, we need to keep this behind a paywall and we need to make money. We did get some money at, you know, in the first, you know, 3-month push or whatever. Also helpful for our, you know, it helped that we did all the marketing, which I'll talk about. But after a while, it kind of tapers off, and then you're like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to just keep it behind the paywall, or should we, like I said, try to get exposure, try to get our names out there? Because like the first feature, it's like you want to get your name out there. You want people to know about it. And so, well, let's see if we can do this. And so we did, and we can always private it again. You know, we can always take it off if we want, but it was like, let's just see what happens.
When you're doing a distribution deal, there's no data, there's no nothing, and that's really all I wanted when I sold it. And I'm sure that was what you were like. Because the exposure is like, you know, but it's like, who are these people that are watching this film?
Right. So being able to get the analytics, all that stuff. So that was kind of the thought process. You know, you have to put in that work. And so for us, I just went into it with like, what, as a fan of this movie, like, what would I want to see? And so it was like, okay, you know, posters, trailers, merch, shorts, stills, behind the scenes documentary content. So many things went wrong. Tower demolished on day one of filming, and we had to find another tower.
The tower that you used.
Yeah, well, the one we used was an alternate tower that we took 9 months to find that one. And so the tower in my hometown got destroyed.
That you've written this movie around.
Yeah. And it had been
like the horror when we got there and it's like it's snow and it's frozen lake and I was like, we're supposed to be on the lake in a boat. We can't really do that anymore. It's like we're rewriting.
You gotta improvise, yeah.
It's like rewrite tonight, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the behind the scenes documentary, Beast Mode, the making of Space Waves goes into all of that. It goes into, you know, how our picture vehicle died on day 2 of filming and we had to push it everywhere and use a trailer, and then we lost our chicken in the forest, and you know, no extras showed up for the school scene, and so we had to rewrite everything day of. And so
it's like when people watch a movie, and I think this is great for filmmakers to talk about, it's like nothing goes to plan.
No, and you got to be able to roll with the punches, dude.
And so it's like you got to just keep pivoting and adjusting. And
if something doesn't work out, we find something better. You know, so you got to have that mindset, you know, and even if it's not financially successful, whatever, or didn't make its budget back quite yet, it's like, that's still an asset that we own for the rest of our lives, you know, the producer and I. So that's a
really good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's passive income for the rest of our lives. And you're building a body of work. You make more movies, like you've made 3, and the audience multiplies each time. An audience member finds movie 3 and they go, oh, what else has he done? And then they go check out the other one. So it feeds into each other. Yeah. And so you have to have the long-term mindset. And like I said, it was so creatively fulfilling, made so many good friendships. It was an incredible project and I love it. And you're learning, you're growing as a filmmaker for a first feature or just a movie in general. I'm like, I love this, you know, like this is the movie I wanted to make. And it turned out better than I originally conceived of back then, because I had such a good team, you know, and so many great people, and people gave it their all. And so, yeah, I love it. And whenever I get insecure about certain things about it or down on myself, I go, we did the best we could with what we had at the time. Why waste so much time hoping and wishing and waiting when you can spend all that time like you and I are doing, developing, creating yourself, and being like, screw the gatekeepers, we're gonna do it ourselves. We don't need as much money, we can pull favors, we have passionate people, and let's do it ourselves, and let's own it outright, and then be able to make money on it for the rest of our lives and control the marketing and all this stuff. And like, it's just a different way of going about it, because it's like, I don't want to be a part of like the broken Hollywood system that like rewards degeneracy and like punishes righteousness. It's like, I don't want to be a part of that, and they're not gonna like me anyway. And like I said, my heroes are the people that are the indie rock stars that did it themselves, you know, and that broke the mold and said, we're not waiting for permission, we're gonna go attack this and do it ourselves.
Thank you so much for stopping by my studio. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Spencer. If you'd like to check out any of his work or follow his socials, I will drop those down into the links in the description. And if you'd like to be part of this channel and part of VHF 21, then head on over to the link that is pinned in the comments of this video. So I'm looking to work with new filmmakers, shorts, features, documentaries, experimental, whatever you have, I want to talk with you. So head on over to those links and I will see you next time. Have a great day.